In today's chess video, I'll show you 6 solid openings. 3 for white, 3 for black. If you're a beginner or you don't have much opening knowledge or you're just confused about which opening to play, then this is the video for you. These openings are fundamentally strong yet very easy to learn. So just prepare for these and you'll thank me in the years to come. Alright, let's begin with white. I want you to start with d4, bring out your bishop to f4, then e3, knight f3 to support this pawn, bring out the other bishop, then c3 and finally knight b to d2. The good thing about these moves is that they're quite straightforward and get you to a good setup without worrying too much about your opponent's moves. So your first 7-8 moves are sorted. This is what we call the London system. Let's see how this looks in an actual game. As white, you'll play the standard moves that I showed you. Bishop f4, knight f3, e3, and now here if he plays bishop d6, don't exchange the bishops. Instead, just move back to g3 so that if he ever takes, you can recapture with the h-pawn and then attack with your rook. Okay, let's continue with our natural development as I showed you earlier. And ultimately, you'll reach this position. This is the ideal opening setup for white where you build a pyramid of pawns just like this. Your bishops are well placed along these open diagonals, the knights are controlling the center, so you can slowly consolidate your position with plans like queen c2 to attack your opponent's king like this. You can also go for a pawn storm and castle on the queen side, or you can break open the center with e4. Now the London system is a positional or a setup based opening, which means you aim to reach a specific position on the board irrespective of your opponent's move, unless he plays something crazy. But if you're an attacking player, you will say, Jitendra, I don't want these slow, boring setup based openings. Give me something exciting. Well, for that, we have the tactical openings like this next one. We start with e4. Look, d4 generally results in positional games, whereas e4 gives you more tactical and attacking options. So after e4, the most common move you will come across is e5. Knight f3, knight c6 is all standard stuff. Now here you can go for the Italian opening, which is bishop c4. From here, two of the most popular moves for black are bishop c5 or knight f6. If he plays bishop c5, then I would suggest you play c3 preparing for d4. And usually black would play knight f6. Then you go for d4. If black takes, you can take back, and then we have some interesting tricks and traps which we call the Greco Gambit. I have made a separate video on this, so please check it out here. Going back, in this position, if black plays knight f6, then you can move forward with knight to g5 and then put pressure on this weak f7 square. He can block with d5, but if he's not careful and recaptures with the knight, then he's gone. That's what we call the fried liver attack. This is another interesting gambit where we sacrifice our knight to expose the black king. I have made a video for this as well. You can check it out by clicking on the I button above. So that was the Italian game. Guys, if you're enjoying the video so far, do hit the thumbs up button right now. Okay, now what if after e4 your opponent plays c5? This is the Sicilian defense, another popular opening that black can force you to play. To counter this, I would suggest you learn some basic and common variations of the Sicilian. A lot of black players like to see the open Sicilian because that's what they are most comfortable with. So a setup that I would recommend for white is the closed Sicilian, which begins with knight to c3. Not only does this reduce the attacking options for black, but this is comparatively a simpler variation for white to handle since there is not much theory you have to study. Anywhere he goes, be it knight c6 or d6, you can just go for g3. Then slowly develop your pieces, fianchetto the bishop, strengthen the center. f4 is an aggressive move that you can play. Then bring out this knight and just advance on the king side and attack the opponent. As white, you can't go wrong by much. Just stick to your game plan and you'll reach a very good position by the middle game. Okay, now let's look at the 3 openings for black. But before that, I would like to thank BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. BetterHelp is a great online platform focused on better mental well-being. Well, the pandemic and the social isolation have clearly shown us how important it is to take care of our mental health. When we are feeling low and our everyday life is being affected, it is very important to take the help of an expert. We need someone to hear us out and give us honest and educated advice. And BetterHelp gives you exactly that. You can be anywhere in the world, and just with a few questions about your feelings and preferences, BetterHelp will match you to a suitable professional therapist with expertise in your area of concern. You can connect with your counselor over phone or video sessions or even chat with them. And you can even change counselors if required. That makes BetterHelp so much more convenient and affordable than traditional offline therapy. Plus, it's completely secure as all counselors are licensed professionals. So basically, BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life right now. All you need to do is sign up with this link, betterhelp.com/chesstalk. That's better, HELP, to get 10% off your first month. Link is in the description box below, so go and check it out. Alright, now let's look at some solid opening moves for black. We again start with a setup based opening. Against d4, you can go with knight f6. Now white can't play e4 because of this knight. So let's say he goes to c4, then g6, knight c3, then you can fianchetto the bishop. And now the moment he goes e4, that's when you play d6. You don't want him to push e5 and attack your knight. That's why this d6 move is important. Then knight f3 and you simply castle. This is what we call the King's Indian setup, and you can play this against anything, literally anything. Let's say instead of d4, white starts with e4. As I told you earlier, if he plays e4, you will just immediately play d6 to stop him from advancing forward. This opening is called the pierce defense, but the setup is similar to the King's Indian. He'll take the center, now you can play knight f6, he defends the pawn, then g6, bishop g7, and look at this, you reach the same setup of the King's Indian. I have made a separate video showing all the ideas in the pierce defense, you should definitely check it out here. Before I move on, I have noticed 70% of my viewers are not subscribed to my channel. So do subscribe guys, it's absolutely free and I would really appreciate it. Okay, now you might say, Jitendra, in the King's Indian, we are just giving away the center to white. That's not how I like to play. I want my pieces in the center right from the start. So if you want some d4, d5 action, then be prepared for the Queen's Gambit. c4 is by far the most popular move that white plays in this position. Now at a beginner level, I would suggest you don't accept this gambit and play something solid like e6 or c6. It's a fundamental opening and proven to be playable for both sides. Now as black, you can first complete your king side development. Knight f6, then bishop e7, castles, your king is now safe. And once the king side is sorted, you can develop on the queen side. The bishop has to come out from here, so b6, then bishop b7. After this, you can get your knight here and then push this c pawn forward to open up the center. Obviously, your games will look different, but that's the main idea. Basically, the Queen's Gambit declined is all about development and positioning your pieces on the right squares to form a strategy for the middle game. It's not that fast and not that slow either, just about perfect for a beginner. But still, some of you might say, Jitendra, I want to go even faster. I love tactics, so show me some sharp attacking openings. Well, for that, I would suggest you to try a variation of the Sicilian. Knight f3, d6 is all standard stuff, and then white's idea is to exchange this pawn and take control of the center with the knight. This is the open Sicilian. Now there is a lot of theory in many different variations of the Sicilian, so to keep it simple, I would suggest you stick to the King's Indian setup that I showed you earlier, which means knight f6 and then you can play g6. We call this the Sicilian dragon variation. After this, you can fianchetto the bishop and then castle on the king side, similar to the King's Indian. This variation is quite easy to play since you don't have to do anything fancy. And at the same time, you also get into a very asymmetrical kind of a middle game where you have a lot of attacks and tactical ideas. Say for example, just after a few moves, white can castle on the queen side. Now both sides will push on opposite sides of the board and target the opponent's king, leading to some very sharp games. This opening has a very good win percentage for black, so you should definitely give it a shot and do let me know how it goes for you. Alright, so it's puzzle time. In this position, it is white's turn and you need to find the best move continuation for white. Do share your answers in the comment section below. Let's see how many of you can solve this. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe and I shall see you in the next one.